Ben.
Hello, how are you doing?
I am doing well, all things considered. Very happy to hear about the news of the captives that were released.
Mm-hmm.
So that is um, definitely good news. Of course, the whole scenario, the whole situation around it, both specifically and in large, are of course unfortunate. But the whole
Mm-hmm.
situation is unfortunate. But again, I'm glad people have been released.
Yeah,
Um,
it's nice news to get.
and so that's on that front. Shavuot is upon us tomorrow. Uh, Pentecost, Shavuot comes in. We receive the Torah, so we're very excited for that. I was fortunate to get a friend of mine is a rabbi is like a rabbi and in charge of the publication of Pnei Halacha, Rabbi Malamed's work. And I heard through the grapevine that they were working on a new book focusing on the world religions. So I sort of want to get in on that. And
Mm-hmm.
he sent me all the notes, which I can't share, but he sent me them, which I'm very happy about. So that's sort of on just one. You might have heard Jacob and I talk about this topic called shituf.
Yeah, heard about it.
Right. So he's like, when I was talking to him about it, he's like, "Oh, I have like 100 pages of notes." I was like, "Oh, send it." So
Yeah.
that's just filled up all my Shavuos night because we stay up all night studying the Torah, which I'm very excited about. However, I did just because next week I'm leaving this house, and thank God this very busy with work and many other elements that are happening right now. Our move and my kids starting summer. So I was going to have like these 4 conversations I had set up that I just canceled right now, and I'm going to take like a little step back from TLC. I think I want to continue these shiurim, but I just need like a month of just focus on real life, even though this space is amazing and I'm very happy about it. It comes with its own demands. And yeah, I need a recalibration of sorts just to make sure I have enough time to do everything I want to do. Excuse me. How about you? Things are going all right? You're mute.
Sorry, yeah, I was saying things are good. I got a little sick, but I'm getting over it. So that's nice.
May you have a speedy recovery.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
All right. Ups, I see you're here. Good to see you. Ups, no pressure. There's no coffee that needs to be bought or 40 days in the desert. It's just old school class. That's I don't know if it's an inside joke, but I think Ups will understand. He was very generous in one of Grimm's schools, as he generally is, both with his time, money, attention, and comments and thoughts. Okay, so where were we? We did this last week.
No, we finished the big one.
Right. Was going all through all these elements we were talking about of these merits one should have and these skill sets one should pick up and just methods of behavior, methods of learning. We finished with Mordechai over there. I saw just how Esther could have took all the glory for herself, but instead she made sure that Mordechai was mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And then seemingly when King Achashverosh wakes up in the middle of the night and asks to be read from his book, or from their scrolls at the time. Either way, Mordechai's name is mentioned, and he remembered in favor, and that is part of how the miracle unfolds. But in a certain sense, it was reminding us also that sort of the greatness of these rabbis and the eternity that seemingly the eternity that is granted to them is by us talking about these ideas and promulgating these ideas, right? So even today in 2024, we are still learning these words, right? So in a true sense, and we then leave these computer screens and walk in within our day and we interact. So they are alive in a certain sense because these ideas are still alive with us today. And who knows, with the technology that we're going to have, what we could make with, chatbots and things like that. You could have whole full discussions of the Talmud, find the pattern or the, sort of the type of rebuttal Rav Ashi would have. You could program that inside, and that will also be fascinating. So we'll see. Okay, so let's continue. Take it away. Do you mind reading?
Yeah, I can read it.
You'll take it in English, or you could do them both.
I can. Let me start with the Hebrew. See if for me it's also hard.
You got it.
For one, it will be okay. גדולה תורה שהיא נותנת חיים לעושיה בעולם הזה ובעולם הבא, שנאמר, כי חיים הם למוצאיהם, ולכל בשרו מרפא. ואומר, רפאות תהי לשרך, ושיקוי לעצמותך. ואומר, עץ חיים היא למחזיקים בה, ותומכיה מאושר. ואומר, כי לוויית חן הם לראשך, וענקים לגורגורותיך. ואומר, תיתן לראשך לוויית חן, עטרת תפארת תמגנך. ואומר, כי בי ירבו ימיך, ויוסיפו לך שנות חיים.
This seems a little strange.
That's different from what you have?
Yeah, something seems out of order here for me. 1 second.
The differences in versions.
I have my own magical book.
Okay.
I don't know how magical it is. What number are we? Number 7. All of us excuse us. גדולה תורה שהיא נותנת חיים שנאמר כי עובד זה ובית שומרך. All right. No. All good.
That
all right, you want to take it in English?
Seems right.
Seems right. Yeah, something was just sounding off to me, but I'm just rusty, I guess.
So we said, ואומר אורך ימים בימינה, בשמאלה אושר וכבוד. ואומר כי אורך ימים ושנות חיים ושלום יוסיפו לך.
Okay, so English.
I can take it. Great is Torah, for it gives life to its observers in this world and in the world to come. As it's stated in Proverbs, for they are life to he who finds them, and a healing to all his flesh. And it says, it shall be health to your navel, and marrow to your bones. And it also says, she is a tree of life for those who hold fast to her, and happy are those who support her. And it says, for they shall be a garland of grace for your head and necklaces about your neck. And it says, she shall give to your head a garland of grace, a crown of glory she will grant you. And it says, with me your days shall be increased, and years of life shall be added to you. And it says, long days in her right hand, in her left wealth and honor. And it says, for long days, years of life and peace, they shall add to you.
A lot of things were said.
Yep. It flows less in English when you say it like that, but
all right, maybe I was reading that. I don't know. Something was like feeding off to me, but Hakol Tov. Okay. גדולה תורה שהיא נותנת חיים לעושיה בעולם הזה ובעולם הבא, שנאמר כי חיים הם למוצאיהם ולכל בשר מרפא. Right? Great is Torah, for it gives life to its observers in this world and in the world to come, as it is stated in Proverbs, for they are life to he who finds them and healing to all his flesh. And we're going to go through other statements. Sorry, you cut off. I mean, my screen just went black. You see me?
Yep, I can see you.
Okay. So if earlier we had the whole list that we were just talking about of 48 things,
Okay.
which we had the Torah, which we acquire the Torah through, right? All these different merits and these different behaviors we were talking about. So we really, and that's really talking to the practitioners that are participating in the Torah. One really has to, again, it's a focus that one has to be fully committed to it. And there's a reward for this, for the person that's actually, we went through all this person that all he's doing, right? And the things that he merits. Part of the reward is life, right? It's a life of goodness and blessing and a life of purpose and meaning. So the Torah is really great in that way. And it really is allowing you to really to participate in life in its full capacity. And we believe that because if you're doing so and you are in a certain sense filling up your soul with an experience of life that is oriented properly, right? That in the world to come continues on with you. Obviously, we don't fully understand what that means, but there's a sense where all these experiences of here that we have now are, as we say, za'ir anpin. It's in a very, very small sense, a portion of what real reality to come will be, and where we could feel it in its most true sense. And so in order to achieve that reality and be a vessel that could contain such an existence, you have to make sure now that you are filling that up. And that's happening through all the 48 elements we were talking about earlier, right? All these things that one has to do to acquire the Torah, but these are really things that we get in reward. And part of this thing about the motzei basar lemarpeh, right? So it gives lives to who finds them and healing to our flesh. So this is also we have to realize that it is the Torah gives like breath into all our organs, right? And it's unlike human medicine, which is really made for one specific part, right? So I have an issue with my hand right now. I could take penicillin for that, and that's going to focus on that element. Torah is, in a certain sense, it washes over you completely, and it affects every part of your body, every part of your existence. So, right, it's an elixir of life, as they say, and it gives you a sense. Of course, it's not going to heal, while other people say it might. If you lost your leg right now, it's not going to allow you to walk. However, it could give purpose into walking with one leg, in a certain sense, to take that extreme example, right? It's what gives you purpose to get back up. It's what gives you purpose. And the framing you have when you use the bathroom, when you come out and you make a prayer, thanking God for how all your body works, all that, being conscious of your body in such a way really allows Torah to affect you on even on a cellular level, right? And we also know that the way we are looking at life and the way we observe life ultimately affects our kids, and there's a psychological effect to that as well, and downstream there's even potentially genetic effects of those kind of things.
Right. So there's the dry practice of mitzvot or any other actions that you do in your life, right? The things that you do by rote, I think is how you pronounce it, right? The things you do like that, but the axioms, I mean, Torah is like the thing that comes even before, right? That's where even the one before this started. It started with Talmud, started with studying Torah. It comes as the first thing because it preloads your axioms, right? It's like it's the things that the thing that allows you to perceive anything in the world and to see a table that's disattached from the floor that it's on, right? All that kind of stuff that Pirkei also talks about. It's the things that are preloaded, and when it does that, it gives you meaning. And the more you are, I guess, the more you actively engage with that, the more it can turn all those dry actions into meaningful moments in your life, even the small things. And again, I guess, you know, the end of the spectrum of that is that you find every single moment meaningful, and maybe that's too much. Maybe that's like psychedelic, right? Like every single movement of your arm, or the leaf in the at the behind the window, or something like that. That maybe gets all mad, but there's a middle road.
Yeah, well, these are concepts that we know we speak about late atar panui mine, right? There's no space void of your presence. We can't always, I mean, we want to always be present of that, but also being present of that all the time is debilitating, right? I can't move, I can't act.
Right.
You want to be informed by that mindset though. And part of that mindset is what allows us, like we said earlier on, if I want to stop and say how pretty the tree is, I can only do that if my mindset is this is all part of a holistic Torah mindset that I have, right? We have to be real with ourselves, though, that if I am being distracted, I'm being distracted, right? And then obviously, and that's okay. We can't always be in that state of mind. However, as we've seen in other portions of what we've been going through over here, if I wake up in the middle of the night, the advice is to then ponder and think. Right. So if you are treating your body like a temple and you are turning yourself into a Jedi, right? So then you could use the Force in many times, and you could then walk around and get to, or let's say, people that don't require psychedelics will use, breathing techniques or Kundalini yoga to get to these states, right? So you could be in this place where you suddenly, you reach that moment. But it's difficult, and like you said, a middle road, and that's what Maimonides always pushed. One should always try to find the middle road. It's not unique to Maimonides, but he definitely spoke about that as well. There's another thing we should notice over here from linguistic point of view or grammatical point of view over here, which is we speak about ki chayim hem lemotzehem u'lechol basaro marpeh. Right, so it's for they are life for to he who finds them, and healing to all his flesh. So in Hebrew, it's motzehem is plural and basaro is singular. In the English translation, they don't do that over here, but there is a teaching which is many could find it, right, and the invitation is for everyone to come and participate in the Torah. However, it's healing for the individual, because it's not enough to just find it, right? You also need to acquire it and then be able to like verbalize it and take, like we mentioned in the last portion, take these ideas and actually formulate them into words and have them come out, create order out of chaos, right? These ideas. So it's an invitation for everyone. It's for the individual that manages to actually do it. It could also be healing, right? It's not necessarily healing to everyone just if I'm trying to achieve it. It's healing if I am achieving it.
Right.
Ve'omer refuot tihi l'sarecha v'shikui le'atzmotecha. And it says, it shall be health to your navel and marrow to your bones, right? So also here we need to ask, didn't we just a second ago talk about the healing, right? So why again are we focusing on the healing? And we could see this in a few places where we talked about here there is a reward for this world and the world to come. So here too, the first time we were talking about healing in this world. This verse is talking about healing to the world to come and alluding to the bones over here, to the vision of Ezekiel of the dry bones, of revivification, of coming back. Now, you could look at that from a physical point of view, and there's different elements of that. There's a resurrection of the dead. Everyone is resurrected, gets to see Messiah, dies, and then we all participate in one big party in the world to come at the end of days. There's a resurrection where everyone comes back and everyone's there and everyone lives on into the world to come. There's a version where only the righteous or specific people come back to see the Messiah and they die. There's a version where it's, Jacob's going to hate this, so I'm just mentioning again, this is his channel and it's not a channel that supports Zionism. However, there is in Zionist thought an idea that post-Holocaust, right, really from like visuals of seeing Jews, emaciated, looking like bones, right? Just from 1945, 3 years later, those same walking bones, dry bones, actually came back to the land of Israel and built a state, right? So if you look at that through the context of Ezekiel, right? So it very much matches. However, again, you could look at this also as a prophecy that is continuous, right? There's multiple levels to it and multiple interpretations and multiple instantiations. But that's what I believe those verses are talking about. But if your magical book has anything to add.
It just talks about how the Maharal sees like the four like these four or these several texts point to different things. So you have the body, the marrow. This is talking about the physical self. The tree, talking about longevity. Grace for your head, the levat chen. Spiritual life, and then the crown, talking about another aspect of the spiritual life. So I mean, that's kind of like kind of more broadly how he kind of breaks it down, specifically.
Just looking at some comments over here. Hineni is the response to God asking, "Where art thou? Where art thou?" Ayeka, and Adam is supposed to answer, "Hineni." Grim, you are my commute companion now. Oh, what an honor. I hope you're doing well, and I hope the commute goes well as well. David Bougie, who that's the name Seabax has for you, and I like that name, Bougie. I hope you don't mind. Honoring your parents results in long life. Correct. There's a famous story about someone who honored his parents and also was doing something has to do with pigeons, but you make the pigeons, you shoot them away to take the eggs, but you don't want to make sure the mother doesn't see you taking the eggs. So to avoid her pain, you shoo the pigeon away, and that also is supposed to reward you in long life. However, the person that was doing this, as in on his father's request, so he's honoring his parents, went to do the shooing of the birds, which also rewards you in long life. He dies. How is this possible? So while this could be true, both from a literal sense, there's also a meta truth to it of honoring one's parents and what that means, and unpacking that concept of honoring the ones that come before, which allows you to then continue and pass on what's relevant and what's sacred. So in that sense, also it's like we spoke about the sages earlier and mentioning their names. In that way, they become everlasting. Upcycle over here. So if I understand correctly, according to Jewish belief, the study continues in the world to come. Is that correct? Yes. And we say that the righteous sit and are still studying at the foot of God's throne, and they are basking in Ziv HaShekhinah, in the radiance of the Shekhinah. And I always imagine that being a very warm, beautiful, beautiful light. Easy to see the connection to Ezekiel. I agree.
Before you go into that, I was like to what Upcycle said. Like one tidbit that I also like about the study.
Please teach us.
Is that we might have talked about it before, but any book that you open now, or any Torah book that you open now, will be available to you in the world to come, so you can like peruse it. Like you'll finally understand everything, and you have infinity to actually delve into it. So whatever book you open now, like make sure to open as much books as you can and study them, because then they'll be in your library. So that's kind of like just a cool idea.
Right. I guess you'll be really disappointed if you get up there and you're like, this is totally not the books I ordered.
Yeah, like something, yeah.
Exactly. Sounds like if we only had Calvin and Hobbes. So
there's some administrative problem that we need to figure out. I hope they
exactly. It's just one book. Yeah, we should all be so fortunate. I mean, there's a sense where, again, when we say these books will be there, or you hope that there would be integration, and you could see how this is true in levels, where we all have a full potential we could reach. And we want to reach that full potential. But the sense is that we have been gifted fantastic and amazing bodies and amazing brains and amazing soul and a holy soul, that if we orient them together, the life over here that we could experience, like God says, like I am merciful, so are you, right? We know that God is in a certain way letting us peek into some of these experiences, that he, being holy and inviting us to be holy, how he wants to participate with us. So in 120, or where I'm excited for my grandfather, I would hope that all the books that he's read, the experiences that he's had, what he's aware of, all his grandchildren and great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren that are alive all around him today, that fullness of life, that richness of life will be able to be translated in a way where those books and those experiences can all meld and make sense in a certain way, and the world makes sense, and those experiences make sense, and it allows you to experience your life the way it should have been, appreciate what it was. So again, this is all conjecture, but
Right, and watching the back and watching the face, right? Like, you can only watch
exactly.
the back, but hopefully,
Right. So it's hard. I mean, so you're correct with intuiting that. So like those are hard things, right, to explain about. Let me see your face. Let me see your back. Right. These things happen in retrospect, and that's, we're going a little deeper than we usually go in over here. So
I mean, a simpler way to talk about it is like if you watch a movie and you're like, I didn't understand anything, and then you go on YouTube and you're like, movie decipher, like whatever, like X movie decipher, and you're like, oh man, now I have to watch it again. I have to see how they reacted, and then I can put it together. So you want to have that. Sometimes you feel like, yeah, I wanted to have that understanding so that I can experience it in a more meaningful way.
Right. So I would wonder what an understanding like that looks like when it's shared.
Yeah.
When it's fully understood. When it's fully understood with all the other components that are relevant, that that are relevant, and how that's also shared across with everyone else, and what that shared understanding looks like.
Yeah.
Right. So you can imagine, like, now we deal so much with inconsistency and misunderstandings, what that looks like if and this is part of the training we're learning about right here, right? Be very careful with your speech, formulate these ideas. All of these are in a certain sense preparation. Well, I don't know if they're only preparation. We spoke about that the world is the foyer, right? And we're trying to go into the banquet hall. So in that sense, it's true. And in that sense, also the fact that, like the example we gave, which is the hallway gets lit up by the other rooms on the side, right? And the more you open up doors, the more it's lit up. So in this world, we want to be opening up these doors, so as much of that world to come light is radiating inside, and that's called being mindful, righteous, the hero's journey. All those things are opening up those doors. Then we have to be the right vessel to accept those that light. So there is a lot of the experience that we're having over here, which is worth it, of course. But yeah, we're going abstract. Everyone should behave. And I want to just say, in the world to come, everyone's invited to my little neck of the woods. It's going to be crazy. There's going to be a DJ. I don't want to give it too much up, okay? But let's just say it's going to be fun.
Everybody will have the books they ordered.
And we'll have that will be the gift. Everyone has to come and bring a book. Okay. Continuing on. Where were we?
It's a good question.
Okay. And ואומר עץ חיים היא למחזיקים בה ותומכיה מאושר. Okay, so very, very, very famous line. And in English, it is a tree. Where is it over here?
She is a tree.
She is a tree of life for those who hold fast to her, and happy are those who support her. Okay, so
her being the Torah.
Correct. So right. So not only is the Torah going to heal all our pains, our ailments, our sicknesses, but it also ensures our longevity. Right. Again, from a spiritual sense, I don't know if it's lengthening your telomeres, but it's giving you longevity, and like using the analogy of a tree, right? Like the trees roots are deep into the ground and they're very sturdy, right? And this allows you to have a continuous sort of life, right? So this is sort of the life of the learner, the one who's participating in Torah learning, Torah study, and of course, Torah embodiment, which would be just living a Torah life. And this is applying to the people who are both hold fast to it, okay, or are grasping on it, and to those who are supporting it, right? So the ones who are grasping it, and there's different interpretations. We could get into a few of them right now, which is the ones who are grasping it are the ones who can't. Well, you have the people that can't necessarily study. The ones who are grasping on it, the ones who are acting with it and are participating with it. But there's those who are supporting it. So that has been interpreted, and some would say politically, to say those are the people that support the institutions, right? Who are paying for these institutions, who are building these institutions, and they too will have a reward and merit from this tree of life and happiness. Now, those who grasp it in this case are on a higher level, right? Because they are holding on to it. Now, there are those who say on the flip side, which is those who grasp it are the ones that need to hold on very close, right? They're having a hard time. And, there's the righteous and there is I don't want to say it's not the conqueror is the wrong way. The hero, we'll say. Mm-hmm. So the righteous person, it's not as difficult for him. It comes naturally to him to connect to the Torah. So he sees himself more as a supporter because his hand can be sort of like a loose touch on it because he's already connected to it naturally. The one who's grasping on, he is the hero. And by hero, I mean, Ezu Gibor Koveshet Yitzro. Who is a hero? One who conquers his own evil inclination. So the hero that needs to go through the hero journey, right? There's something about him needing to go down into the depth and coming out on the other side. He needs to grasp on because for him, it's more difficult. If he lets go, it's harder for him. So that's one interpretation of looking at it that way. There's an interpretation which is the analogy of the tree is there to remind us of the tree of life from heaven. However, Maimonides, in his classic sense, challenges this and says, how can this be possible that Adam and Eve eat from the tree of knowledge and then they gain knowledge? As in, you're going to tell me that they gained something from doing something wrong? Right. Like that's not something that's supposed to be happening. And it, in a sense, was what Maimonides posits, that Adam and Eve were in a reality of complete truth. And the tree basically created doubt or created a relative way of looking at things. There's different points of perspective. Right. And this introduced good and evil, or again, these different concepts, right? Or when you have the Nachash is Arum, he's Armumi, right? He could manipulate the truth, so to speak. Right. And that's why going back to the tree, in a sense, is what we call is Torah Emet, right? Going back to the tree allows us to cling back to the ultimate truth and make our way back into seeing truth ultimately. I'll just mention one thing about this, which is with Isaac, we ask, and Jacob, we ask, how is it possible that, well, Jacob, Isaac, and Abraham, how is it possible that Isaac doesn't know that Jacob needs to get the blessing, right? Why is he giving it to Esau? Esau's the bad guy. Jacob's the good guy. It's very clear. Everyone in the neighborhood's talking about it. Why can't he see this? And there's a reason. One of the interpretations could be, which is for Isaac to allow himself to be sacrificed, he had to see an ultimate truth, which was like, this is for the greater good. And that's why there isn't like, oh, this is sort of wrong. It's hard to understand. He himself understood what he was doing. Now, there's a midrash that says that he dies and comes back and the angels cry and it goes into his eyes. And that's why he couldn't see well, because it says his eyes were
foggy,
were heavy. The time before that we talk about eyes is when Adam and Eve eat from the tree of good and evil. And when they eat, right, their eyes were opened up. And there's a sense where it's for Isaac to do that to himself. that's like major PTSD. And when it says like the Midrash says that he died, it could be alluding to he went back to a place where he only sees ultimate truth again. And that's why he can't differentiate between Esau and Jacob, because to him, he's not looking at the world that way anymore. And only when he finds out what happened, it says, suddenly he was like, he was terrified because he realized he's been sort of looking at the world right now with these pink glasses in a certain sense. But that's just an idea off of this idea. So
talk about heavy stuff. Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like the Rambam, I remember reading that. I think it's in Moreh Nevuchim.
Yeah.
The idea of, if I can try to simplify it, maybe I'm wrong, so let me know, but like that good and evil are proxies for ultimate truth. So for Adam, there was right and wrong. There was truth and falsity. I don't know. But then so everything was clear. There was no like, it tastes like, if it tastes sweet, then you know that it's might be, or I don't know, sorry, like I don't know, like the morality on top of it, all these proxies that allow us to understand whether something is for the good or for the bad. But so it's kind of like this curse of information, the curse of data, right? Like it's like always, like you think that if you have more information, or if you like you have all these proxies, and then you don't even know what the actual thing is. I use this example with Jacob Alad that somebody else mentioned from another channel. I forgot his name. Vocal Distance or something.
Mm-hmm.
About the strawberry and the juice of the strawberry and the lollipop based on the juice of the strawberry. And then you don't even know what a strawberry is.
Right. But your son could be having a temper tantrum saying, this is not the strawberry I wanted, though. Right? Based on like that, like false reality. Yeah. Right? And we all want to go back to that original taste. So the Torah is offering it, saying the Torah being that's your Jack and the Beanstalk, right? That's your way to go back up there, is to connect back to the Torah. And yeah, it does. And as you could see when we were going through these 48 things earlier, that all those moves are trying to make sure that the experience is as authentic as possible, right? Learn from everyone. So that's like, that's not keeping you siloed. And at the same time saying, know your place. That's going back to saying, God saying, where are you? Saying, here I am. It's knowing where you are at all times. So all those things are trying to orient you back to being that person who he himself is the tree, right? Others should be really grasping onto you. We don't talk about it over here, but in a sense, and Jacob has his famous tree of life, right? God's name, the tetragrammaton in Hebrew is really the man standing up. Mm-hmm. And so are the 10 spheres, right? So all these are going back to mapping onto ourselves. And of course, you can see these things in chakras, in all different kind of religions, of us trying to be this tree ourselves. Okay. ואומר כי לוויית חן הן לראשך וענקים לגרגורותיך, ואומר תיתן לראשך לוויית חן, עטרת תפארת תמגנך. And it says, for they shall be garland of grace for your head and necklaces above your neck. And it says, you shall give your head a garland of grace, a crown of glory she shall grant you. Very, very nice. So these are also tough Hebrew words as well, right? But this livyat, this garland, right? This crown, so to speak, or people to see you in favor, people seeing you basically in a favored ways. You're going to have this aura about you, and it's one of the things that really endear you to other people is, according to some of the interpretations, is wealth, money. Right, which is in addition to the gift of life. And if we notice over here, all the other verses we're going to go over here have, the first one we just had life, and the next ones have the word life. This is the only one that doesn't have life inside, because it's supposed to say, aside from the life that we're promising you here, life in the world to come, life here, all that's true. There's also a gift, which is to those who participate properly, they get life will present them with things so they're not lacking. Now you realize this is also in contrast to the things we've read before, right? Which is you should prepare yourself to live only on salt and bread and don't need much. But at the end of the day, God is saying here too, there are people that will benefit from these things as well. And even from a material point of view, again, because that showcases in the world, like we spoke about the chest plate of the high priest that has on it valuable gems, or the tabernacle and the ark made out of gold. This is to showcase to the world that these things are valuable and important. Of course, the gold itself doesn't mean anything to God, but it does mean things for humans. So here too, God is saying you will have this jewelry, and we're also using this terminology to emphasize again that as far as humans concerned, jewelry, these are status symbols. So in this sense, you will be able to have these things around you, and you could look at them as both physical or metaphorical, right? You will have, your head will be your neck, around everything that you need to be cognizant around, the things that you need to learn Torah, they themselves will be protected as well, right? So this is we're going back to this crown element also. So that's sort of what these ideas are playing over here, and it's repeated again with regards to your head and this garland again, which is, it's not only is it giving you these beautiful ornaments, it's also guarding you as well. It's acting as a shield for you as well. And that could be translated in two senses. One, which is because I participated in it properly, I've now cultivated a life where I don't speak badly on other people, and that's why I don't have drama, and I'm not jealous, so I don't have so all those things don't happen to me, and I'm living a guarded life because I've created a safe, oriented life, and I'm sort of walking between the raindrops. Alternatively, there's a sense which is reality is what reality is, and yes, you could have cultivated yourself a good life. However, lightning can strike, so to speak, right? Or bad things could happen. The sense is that as you become full with Torah, you have esteem, right? And then you are protected by the church or by the imam. Throughout all of history, Jews and rabbis, great sages, have been respected and loved, and they were part of the council, and they would be the council of the kings, or the council of well, not the pharaohs, but the council of other different rulers at times. And again, this is an interpretation I've heard in the past, which is true, but there's obviously many, many pogroms and many deaths for many, many wise, smart people. But there's a sense which is, if the Torah is oriented well and you are shining as if you are an example of Torah, right? So we have like Judah the Prince and Marcus Aurelius learning together, right? So there's a sense where that relationship could have been cultivated because Judah the Prince was Judah the Prince. And that is because of the Torah he learned and how he oriented his life as well.
Right.
Any thoughts or any words? One second. I see over here we have someone that's angry. Jews are bastards. Jews are bastards. Jews are the most dangerous threat to humanity. No Jews equals world peace. Rabbi Malat says hi. Now, Brusk Kadir, Zach, Torah and Talmud myth, bullshits to dirty toilets, not humanity. I got you. Brusk, I hope you're, based on your last name, I'm assuming, and I could be wrong, just like a Muslim background. I hope you and your family are doing well. If you and your family are dealing with the horrible trauma that's going on in the Middle East right now, I'm very, very sorry. It's horrible. I really hope that the sons of Abraham could find time to be together and heal together and learn from each other. Islam has, and the sons of Ishmael, hearing God's, in that name, Ishmael, hearing God's voice, have done a great job being very, very steadfast in their belief in monotheism and promulgating that message of Abraham around the world. So we appreciate that. I wish you no ill will. And I hope soon, brother, we, inshallah, could speak in a calm and peaceful way. Right now, we're just going over some of the teachings of Allah, and you are welcome to participate and listen. And I hope you have a good day. All right.
We have 5 minutes, by the way.
We have 5 minutes. Oh no. Okay. So we're continue. תמגנך, כי בי ירבו ימי חייך ויוסיפו לך שנות חיים. Correct? Or no, did I skip one?
No, you're good.
כי בי ירבו ימי חייך. Okay, yes, exactly. Here we're talking about, well, I want to read it in English as well.
Mm-hmm.
With me, your days shall be increased, and years of life shall be added to you. So we are being told over here that, and we're being reported, it's okay, we're doubling up here again, right? Which is you are going to, your days will be increased and your life shall be added, right? So
days and years.
I'm sorry?
Days and years.
Yeah, days and years. So there's a sense which is shnot chaim, the days shall be increased, means it's not that I have now a 27-hour day. Rather, the day itself will be more full, more, every minute will be more realized, more embodied. Every moment will be fully realized. And this allows you to have a much richer life. Now, there's a sense there's ideas we sort of hint about when we talk about, let's say, UBI, universal basic income, right? Which is suddenly I have all this time in my hand. What am I going to do? Well, there's a lot of people that don't have meaning. That's very scary for them. When we have Torah to fill our life and we have community to fill our life, then of course, when we have the moment to do this, we will now feel that we have so much more time on our hands to fill with meaningful Torah study. I don't want to keep you. You want to bust out and we'll continue next time? You said you have 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I have 3 minutes now, but
okay.
we can stop here or continue.
No. I'm saying I don't want to make you feel like you're running out.
No, it's okay. 3 minutes, and then I have to run out.
Okay, right. So like basically like so the shalom that we had over here in the end, the shalom yosifu lach. So there's like an additional promise, right? So not only are we getting this eternal life, right, which is in the world, in this world and the world to come, and we have the fullness of the life, right? We have the shnot chaim over here as well. We also have the shalom as being promised of, right? So peace in a certain sense, right? Peace doesn't mean just like, shalom means like hi, or peace just like people getting along. Shalom means like from shalem, complete.
Right. It kind of harkens to what we spoke about in terms of seeing the back and then seeing the, right, understanding, having everything integrated and understanding it from the other side. Like I can see how everything connects, right? If it's shalom, if it's complete.
Correct.
Everyone says.
Then you could see the whole gestalt, so to speak, right? Everything's connected. And only when you have peace can you be this vessel, right, that could hold blessing properly, and a container for God's abundance, for God's shefa, and to be able to receive that abundance, which looks like longevity and full life, right? We ourselves have to be that vessel, right? So we have to do the Torah, see all these things connect, and v'yosifu lach, this promise that we mentioned over here at the end, right? So it's not only veshalom. Shalom was addition number 1. Yeah. V'yosifu lach, you could look at it as part of the addition. They'll give it to you, or it's another addition, which is this is also in the world to come, right? Like this is like, and you could see this pattern in a few of the verses over here, which is these are real hints to what to be in the world to come again, but we obviously don't actually know, but we could allude to or try to get an idea of what we're talking about. ואומר אורך ימים בימינה ובשמאלה עושר וכבוד, ואומר כי אורך ימין ושנות חיים ושלום יוסיפו לך. I think I skipped that and I went down to the Shalom Yosifu Lach from the first one over there.
Right, yeah. We spoke about the Shalom.
Orach Yamim, the English over here gets me always confused over here. Right, so now we're Beyamina. We're Orach Yamim Beyamina with Smala Osher V'Kavod. Right, so there is, we're we're saying again, going back longevity, and it's right, and it's left. There's honor and there's wealth over here. But just as a general question about the longevity, like we said, we obviously know people that were prime Torah scholars that obviously died, and they did not get this longevity ultimately. And there is a sort of hint here, which it says, the longevity is those to hold it in its right hand. And we know that the right is there to symbolize strength. And the ones who are holding with the right hands are the ones that we were talking about in the tree that are grasping on strongly, and the ones that are learning Torah for its own sake and not for anything else. To those people, they get the longevity. But to the Torah scholars they're heavy hitters, they're serious Torah scholars, but they're doing it not purely for its own sake, they can attain wealth and honor, but they won't necessarily get the length of days, right? Which it doesn't mean that doesn't necessarily mean that they won't have a long life or that they're going to die early, but more about that their gifts and they merit, they're going to get more of that in this world and less of that in the world to come.